Well, well. Week 2 is in the books. We what a freaking Saturday. Holy crap, did these games show up. Oh, we had overtime winners, we had upsets. When we didn't think we could get enough upsets after week 1. But man, did week 2 try to be a contender against week 1 as far as upsets and craziness. Um, I'm gonna go over my picks. I went 14 and 9, which I'll take. I had a lot of games that I just went on a limb with. Some were my pure gut reaction. Some were just because I just wanted to see if it would happen. But being 14 to 9, my winners for my picks were Oklahoma, Illinois, Syracuse, NC State, Pitt, Army, Missouri, Wyoming, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Alabama, BYU, Hawaii, and UNLV. My losers, I am going to hold the L high on a lot of these ones. Florida, damn it. I should have known better because I watched that Boise State game that USF played, and I should have had a feeling, but I didn't because I thought that the Gators in the swamp would have taken care of that. But again, the losers, Florida, Arizona State. Oh, what a game that Arizona State Mississippi State game was. West Virginia, again, my pride got in the way because yeah, at the top, I am a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, and then it falls down to West Virginia right after that because I like the way that they've played football for a long time. Have they been good recently? Not really, but I just had faith that they would take the game versus Ohio, and I was dead wrong. Very dead wrong. Um, then Bowling Green was a loser. Virginia Tech was a loser. I chose Charlotte over North Carolina for the meme, and just because I wanted to just I wanted it to just manifest. I wanted it to happen so bad. Iowa is one of my other losers because apparently I didn't see what the hell Iowa State has been doing. San Diego State, Boston College, and those were my 9 losers. So let's get into the games. We're gonna go into them in no specific order, but I'm just gonna go over the games that I had picks on. Iowa versus Iowa State. I said in my video that it's a very 50-50 game. The score does not reflect that, even though this is a 16-13 game. Half the time when I was looking at Iowa State versus Iowa, it looked like an 80-20 game. Iowa State looks like they can handle themselves very well. And literally they're proving Iowa State is really proving themselves to be one hell of a team. And good on them for taking that game because they wanted it. We're gonna move on to Illinois versus Duke. The fact that this game was as close as it was at halftime, and then Illinois just kicked the door in the second half, and the game ended up being 45-19. Holy crap! I said that this is a prove it game for Illinois, and I would definitely say that they proved that they need to be talked about. And I do have at the end of this my 5 thoughts about week 3. So I will get to those at the end of the video, and Illinois is one of those thoughts. But no, Illinois took care of Duke 45-19. Boston College lost to Michigan State in overtime. I said this was going to be a sleeper game. Because I had that feeling that Boston College was going to come in there and surprise Michigan State, and they were doing it for a while, but Boston College fell short, and Michigan State just took the game in overtime to win it. Good on them. Let's talk about one of the big games right now. Oklahoma, Michigan. I said this was a double prove it game because both of these teams have a chip on their shoulder because Michigan State, or not Michigan State, Michigan wanted to prove that we're not all hype. This whole thing with Bryce Underwood is real. Oklahoma was literally in the same boat. They want to keep being a top tier team in the SEC. They keep trying to put themselves into it, and Oklahoma proved it. Oklahoma, I don't care what anybody wants to make excuses for about Michigan. I'm sorry, that game was not for Michigan to win. They, for Michigan, everything was questioned. Every last decision was was just absolutely like, really? I had put down in my note that the Michigan defense looked like Week 1 Alabama because there was times where people were just wide open for no reason. They couldn't at times, like, yeah, they'd be able to stop the run. They'd be able to get somebody behind the line of scrimmage, but then all of a sudden, either the quarterback or the running back takes off for 7, takes off for 10 yards, takes off for 11 yards. The offense, I don't know. I don't understand why you're like I hate comparing it to my Chicago Bears. Third down and you're running bubbles and screens? What is that? If you know the quarterback and the kind of offense you should have, why are you just dumping it away? When Oklahoma proves that they can make mistakes happen. And Oklahoma just wrecked Michigan. It was ridiculous. Um, After that, we're going to move on to Syracuse and UConn. UConn, I was very surprised by UConn in this game. I guess I don't look at UConn as contending with somebody like Syracuse, but Syracuse had to pull that game out right at the last minute. That game ended up being 27-20 at the end, and then the dude making the Syracuse coach making them do sprints after the OT winner. No, please, just spare me with that. Like, come on, dude. Like, get a grip. Um, Pitt versus Central Michigan. After what I saw Central Michigan did in San Jose, I thought that they were going to give Pitt a way bigger fight than what they did. That game ended up being 45-17, but still won the pick. I just thought that Central Michigan would come out a little harder. But hey, kudos to Pitt for taking the win. A game I really did not get to watch because going back and forth between a lot of the other major games. Um, NC State beat Virginia 35-31. We had Virginia Tech pretty much get dominated by Vanderbilt 44-20. That one was not on my radar. I guess I just haven't been paying that much attention to Vanderbilt at all. And then North Carolina versus Charlotte 20-3. Again, I wanted I just wanted to see I just wanted to see the chaos that would have ensued if Charlotte would have won that game. Because Chapel Hill would have been coming for Belichick's head. If they would have lost to Charlotte, man, that would have been bad. Um, then we're moving on to Bowling Green versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati took that game 34-20. I mean, I had my gripes with Cincinnati for the Nebraska game in Arrowhead, but they came out and they showed that they can really take it to a team like Bowling Green. And that West Virginia versus Ohio, 17-7. That game got really slow for a while for me, and it was because I was going back and forth between a lot of different games. So I didn't. I just really thought that West Virginia, with how bad the season was and how the defense was last year, I just really thought that they would be able to come out this year and be able to prove to certain teams. And I was really thinking that this Ohio game, they could really come out, especially with how Ohio was hyping this game. They were just ready to, Ohio was just ready to take it to West Virginia, and they did. And they were able to fight them off all the way to the end. Honestly, if Oklahoma and Michigan was not in this same week, Arizona State, Mississippi State is the game of the week. Hands down. No doubt about it. The how Mississippi State came out from the get and was dominating, and then just over time, Arizona State chip and chip and chip away at it. And then the goal line stop, and then just to that play, the second that that receiver caught that ball in open field and took off towards the end zone, and that place went ballistic. That that was just absolutely magical, in my opinion. It was. It was everything that college football is and is supposed to be. Um, but yet that game ended 24-20. It's time for I Told You So. Army beats Kansas State. Kansas State, you are abysmal. You are terrible. I said it in my video. You are not that good at all. You are not. And Army proved that. Army wanted that game more than you did. That last drive showed it. Even with Avery Johnson throwing that ball up in that and trying to put guys into spots, that team did not want that game. Army was all over the field. Literally, that last drive, they were every last amount of energy they had in them, they were putting into every single hit. And that number 30 for Army, I couldn't get his name down before I did the video. I forgot it at the last minute. But man, that dude better have every single game ball from that game. And that backup quarterback. Those guys literally put the entire team on their back. The quarterback, the backup quarterback through the entire game, and then that last drive, that number 30 was just popping and just destroying Kansas State players all over the place. And Kansas State, you did deserve to lose this game. Just like I said, you are supposed to be an 0-3 team. And the fact that you barely skated out last week just goes to prove you deserve to be 0-3. Um, Mizzou and Kansas. Man, Mizzou has them a nice offense. That game was so fun to watch with how they were just flying all over the field. That quarterback was just rifling the ball everywhere. They did a great job. That game ended up being 42-31. Mizzou with the win in the border game versus Kansas. Um, I took Wyoming over Northern Iowa just because I saw the hype that was going around the game and that. And Northern Iowa is not a horrible team. They're not Akron. Not even going to talk about Akron. But um I knew that this was the Josh Allen jersey retirement game, and they had a big thing for him. It was really nice. But yeah, Wyoming came in, got the job done, got out of there 31-7 final score there. I tried my hardest to stay up for the late games on the West Coast, but I even said in my video before, I didn't know anything about San Diego State and Washington State going into the game. I was like, I'm going to take this pick so that I can watch the game and try to and just try to get a little bit more of a feel about these two teams. I fell asleep. So I I didn't even have the ambition this morning to get up and to watch the replay or the highlights from San Diego State and Washington State. But that game ended up just being 36-13. Moving on to Hawaii and Sam Houston. I chose Hawaii because I just like what I see with Hawaii. I do. I think that Hawaii is not going to be like a ranked team by any means necessary, but do I believe that they have a good team? Eh, I really do. I like the way that they play defense, and I mean Sam Houston's not like something to just bat an eye at, but that Sam Houston team has not been that great. Ole Miss versus Kentucky, that was 30-23. Then everybody on Twitter losing their mind over Lane Kiffin making the comment about sorry for the gamblers. That couldn't have been more priceless to hear that. But yeah, Ole Miss took care of business versus Kentucky, 30 versus 23. Texas A&M over Utah State. There wasn't too much to say about this game. Utah State tried to put up a fight, but then A&M just did what they needed to do to get the win. And with A&M going to South Bend next week, I'm nervous. Am I loyal to Notre Dame, and do I think that Notre Dame can figure it out and understand that Jeremiah Love needs to have the ball in his hand? Yes, but if A&M wants to, A&M can come in there and upset us. All right. I don't know if I want to save the rant for my one of my five things because Alabama and LA Monroe, Louisiana Monroe, 73-0. I'm just gonna save I'm gonna save my thought for my five things for next week. And then BYU versus Stanford. Eh, Frank Reich, man, just just stop, man. Just be done. BYU dominated you, and man, that just sucked. To just watch how abysmal and poor that game looked. But yeah, BYU took the win over Stanford. Um, USF. Did I even have that game down? Did I literally forget to write that game down earlier? Yeah, I did. Um, USF versus Florida. Now, I'm just gonna roll this right into my five things to look for because this is gonna be my number one. USF needs to be ranked next week going into week 3. And I don't want to see no ranked at 25 bullshit. I don't want to see it. I I want USF to have a true ranking, even if it's like at 22 or something like that. I don't want them just to be thrown at 25. USF deserves to be ranked, especially what they did to Florida today. But the fact that USF is going to carry all of that momentum going into Miami, oh, you know damn well there's going to be a lot of people watching that Miami USF game next week. You damn well know there's going to be a lot of hype behind that game. That quarterback looks great. That defense can really get after you if you let the game get away. Miami cannot allow that to happen. They need to protect Carson Beck, or Miami could possibly turn into Florida as far as how this game came out. because Florida looks like a joke after this game. They really do, and that hurts to say, but man, what? I do not think people expected Florida to lay that egg the way they did. Because, I mean, they did. USF is nothing to scoff at whatsoever. But the fact that Florida came out there and they just couldn't get nothing done versus USF, man, you gotta start reevaluating some stuff there in Florida because the swamp is looking bad right now. Ooh, all right, number two. Oh man, after how late that was, I needed coffee so bad today. Number two, is Illinois in top 10? Because I want to say right now, even if you just put them at 10 right now, I know they have Western Michigan next week, but to be honest with you, with how they came out in that second half and dominated, I want Illinois to be in top 10. I do. I truly do. Because I think, I know there was a guy on Twitter, I can't even give him the credit for it because I can't even remember what his name was. But yeah, I think the one point that he said was perfect. This isn't 2009 anymore. It's not. And it was a great thing for him to just come out and flat out say it. Because I think that's what everyone is kind of thinking right now is like, oh, this is just an old Illinois team. No, this is 2025 Illinois. And they showed in the second half that they're real. They definitely showed it. Um, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I believe, is going to inch closer to the top 10. Do I think they make a big jump? I think they do. Even with Michigan, even with this game proving that Michigan is not all that they're hyped for, and the ranking might be skewed because of the national championship. But I definitely want to say that Oklahoma, Oklahoma, I would say Oklahoma's a top 10 team right now. Will they be there longevity? Not really. Possibly. If they keep this run up and if they keep that offense going, I think it's going to be good. Um, let's get into my other point. UCLA, I said you don't deserve to win another football game this year. And UCLA proved again that they don't deserve to win another football game. UNLV came out there and just took care of business. And honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think they're going to win a football game all of September because you guys play New Mexico next. You guys have not been playing better than New Mexico. In my opinion, you have not been. If anything, you might squeak that game out. And it's gonna be way closer than you want it to be, UCLA. Huh. And my final point. Alabama, your season has now reset. You can sit here and do the whole 73-0 BS, whatever. Your season has now reset completely. Do you still have to take note of what Florida State did to you in week 1? Yes, you do. Do you take the really good positives that came out of week 2? Yes. But from here on out, that Bama team needs to forget about week 1 and 2 and act like this is a brand new season for them. You guys came out and you did what you needed to do and just move on. Believe me, I am not the biggest Alabama supporter whatsoever. I am not. But you guys go to play Wisconsin. Wisconsin's not a great team. And if you play down to the competition, you could potentially lose that game. You can because you if you lollygag into that game the way that you lollygagged into Florida State, oh, it's gonna look bad. It's gonna look so bad for you. So again, my final point with that is again, Alabama, your season has reset. It is literally 0-0 for you right now. And with that, we are going to wrap up this video. 14-9, I'll take it. Um, I'll take. I might have missed on a few of the games that I should have just known better on, like Iowa State, and and probably not taking Charlotte to beat North Carolina just for the joke of it. But just flat out coming out and saying that Army is going to beat Kansas State makes me happy. Saying that UNLV was going to come in there and take care of UCLA makes me really happy. Seeing Illinois do what it needed to do against Duke and in how dominating that second half was, it was great. It was great to see it. But with that, we are going to wrap up week 2 and we are on to week 3, as Belichick would say. We're on to week 3. Thank you guys for supporting so much. Please go check out the Twitter and that. I appreciate you guys for all the views and everything. I know we're just starting out slow right now, but a slow start can lead to a fast finish. I know exactly how that comes out. But anyways, thank you so much again. I appreciate all of you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. And we have NFL football tonight too. We're sitting at about 9:17, so we got quite a few hours before kickoff and that. I'm going to be making food, tweeting about the games today. And with that, have an amazing weekend, guys. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys.